It was just now that Xiao Honglian saw the students desperate for their lives. A mocking smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. She turned around and ordered her subordinates, "Light them up first. Let them think about their role again. If they really can't think of it, kill them all." However, Zhuge Qingting had a different view. He always felt that these students should be given a try. Even if Zhang Yi and Liang Yue don't care, they should still threaten Zhang Yi because, in his opinion, these students have no ability to survive the apocalypse at all. If no one takes care of them, he couldn't imagine how these people would survive. So he inferred that the words of these students were not unreasonable. As possible, as they say. Xiao Honglian looked at him in surprise because she really didn't expect her own advisor to think that way. Yes, he naively thought that this garbage would threaten Zhang Yi. She started taunting him with a face full of disdain. Everyone in the world is in danger today. If you were asked to exchange this garbage, would you change it? So your statement is unrealistic at all, and you stare at the money with your eyes wide open. To say something bad, these people aren't even eligible to serve us as slaves. I don't believe anyone would be that stupid. Really, like you said, that man must be a lunatic. However, Zhuge Qingting lowered his head and smiled. I know there are some things you can't understand, but there's one thing you need to understand. Not all women are as wise as you. According to my speculation, Zhang Yi's decisive character, allowing students to live in the sanctuary, must have something to do with their teacher. After listening to Zhuge Qingting's explanation, Xiao Honglian couldn't help but fall into deep thought, because in her opinion, Zhuge Qingting's words seemed to have a little truth. Therefore, combining the above information, Xiao Honglian found it not difficult to guess that Liang Yue is very likely to be a holy mom. If she could take advantage of this, maybe she could find a breakthrough. After understanding this, she immediately instructed Zhuge Qingting to contact Zhang Yi and gave the students all the explosive collars arranged to go up. On the other side, Zhang Yi and the others were enjoying breakfast leisurely at home. At this time, Liang Yue was planning to send food to the students. Seeing this, Zhang Yi asked Liang Yue a few words with concern. This sudden tenderness made her little face flush. She didn't even dare to look at Zhang Yi because she knew there must be some jealousy in his eyes. Liang Yue couldn't figure out herself now. Did she develop feelings for Zhang Yi? However, at this moment, Zhang Yi was thinking of another thing. He wondered what Liang Yue would do if she found that the students had disappeared. In fact, Zhang Yi knew better than anyone else that Liang Yue couldn't possibly give up those students. He also wanted to see where Liang Yue's bottom line was. So Zhang Yi only asked Liang Yue not to give him too much trouble. If she was really out of his control, then he had no choice but to ask Liang Yue to leave this shelter. At the same time, Liang Yue brought food to Sujiejian village all the way. She didn't notice anything different from before, but the moment she opened the door, a bad premonition instantly came to her mind. She looked at the empty room, feeling that something had happened. Because she knew them so well, she couldn't believe they had gone out fishing en masse. Liang Yue could only think of one result. These students were robbed by people from other organizations. Liang Yue searched every corner of Sujiejian village but found nothing. However, she noticed something strange that she didn't understand. Why weren't the villagers of Sujiejian village kidnapped? Instead, all her students disappeared. Thinking of this, she could no longer suppress her worries. She turned around and ran to the shelter because she knew the only hope now was Zhang Yi. Only he could help her solve this mystery. A moment later, she returned to the shelter, out of breath. She looked anxious, instantly catching everyone's attention. Then she told Zhang Yi the whole story. She said she had searched all over Sujiejian village, and there was no doubt that the children were missing. Everyone was shocked by this. They didn't care much about the students, just worried about the shelter being in crisis again. Liang Yue then expressed her speculation. She deeply suspected that other forces had reached the Xishan district and that it was all done on purpose. After listening to Liang Yue's explanation, Zhang Yi instantly turned into an actor, pretending to be confused and asked, "Did you have any enemies before? Otherwise, why are those villagers fine?" Liang Yue was very confused at this time. She didn't know why this was happening. Because in addition to teaching at Tianqing, I haven't been anywhere else, not to mention revenge. Zhang Yi comforted her, saying, "Don't worry about this. The more anxious you are, the more chaotic it will be. Just calm down, and we can analyze the best way. Let's investigate the shelter first. Look around and see if you have seen any suspicious people recently. If there are any, we can follow the clues." Then Zhang Yi directly turned on the monitor, clearly to show Liang Yue that he had nothing to do with the student's disappearance. As time passed, the display on the monitor showed that everything was normal. Liang Yue was somewhat relieved. At least her worst fear didn't come true. However, Zhang Yi said with a serious face, "Now we're in trouble. There is no useful information on the monitoring. Now we're completely passive. Although there are still 4 major bases in Tianhai City, we cannot rule out other small forces. But since they deliberately kidnapped your students, that means these people are asking for something. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next," Zhang Yi continued. Several beautiful women in the family also expressed their praise. After all, they still didn't know the strength of the other party. If they took rash actions, it was very likely to fall into the enemy's trap. So now it was the best choice to respond to changes without changing. Then Zhang Yi patiently explained the powerful relationships to Liang Yue. His enlightenment made Liang Yue feel a lot better, at least not as anxious anymore, but she still couldn't figure it out. "I didn't offend anyone. Why target me?" Zhang Yi said, "There are many reasons for this, but one thing is for sure. This concerns you. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense at all, but you don't have to worry too much. I think those students should be safe now. Let's wait for the the news. Just now that Zhang Yi grasped Liang Yue's palm. This unexpected sight left her trembling. When she looked up, he said affectionately, "Don't you worry. I will be by your side anytime and anywhere. After all, I promise to take care of those students with you. As long as there is news, I will never die." Liang Yue was moved after hearing this. She blushed and hesitantly said, listen to you." Zhang Yi looked sad, but a smile blossomed because he knew better than anyone that even if the people from the Yangsheng base didn't kill them, they would still die of food poisoning. After all, they had been eating the fierce material under Zhang Yi for days. Then Zhang Yi was just with Lu Karen and Yang Xinshin, accompanying Liang Yue. The two girls intensely pulled the teacher directly and went to the room. After seeing Liang Yue leave, Zhou Ke'er immediately came to Zhang Yi's side. She asked with a worried face, "Are external forces coming to attack us again?" Zhang Yi nodded without hesitation and admitted it. Yangsha complained, "Why are these people so bad? We just had a few good days. Why are you fighting again?" Hearing this, Zhang Yi smiled carelessly. "Ms. Yangsha, that's where you got it wrong. It's not that they disrupt our lives. It's the way we go to war in exchange for peace." However, Zhang Yi was still more worried at this time. Hugging the girls, he said, "After all, we have to deal with two forces. It's absolutely not as simple as imagined, but I can't control so much now. If you want peace, you have to make choices and sacrifices. Although it's a little troublesome, I am bound to make a name for myself in Tianhai City so that no one dares to attack us." Zhou Ke'er asked with some worry, "Aren't you worried about Liang Yue doing this?" Zhang Yi was a little confused when asked, "What am I worried about? Although I admire her, if she can't overcome her heart and continues like this, then I can only let her go. If necessary, I will personally take action to solve this hidden danger. I don't get emotional with anyone easily because once you have feelings, people become soft-hearted and hesitant." At night, Zhang Yi called Xu Chunlei and Uncle Vu over and told them to be ready for battle at all times. Xu Chunlei sighed after hearing it. "It's really annoying. Can't these people stop for a while?" Zhang Yi just smiled coldly. "Impossible. There will always be people who want higher rights. Do you think everyone else is as free as we are? From a safety standpoint, only by eradicating all threats around you can you sit back and relax." After listening, the two nodded in agreement because they had already experienced that feeling. Whether it was in Yuelu community or Sujiajin village, it's an indelible memory. Speaking of which, Zhang Yi reassured the two, saying, "Everything is under my control. Let them not worry. As long as the enemy sees our power and understands I'm not an easy bone to chew on, they will never dare to attack us again." Uncle Vu laughed after hearing it. "It just so happens that my whole body is itchy these days. I can just go out and move my muscles and bones." Xu Chunlei sighed helplessly, but also accepted this reality. "So far, I have to bite the bullet." At this moment, suddenly, there was a loud sound from outside. Obviously, it was the sound of a car engine. Several people immediately got up from the sofa, and their eyes suddenly became sharp. "There's someone coming, and it's a car!" Then Zhang Yi ran to the windowsill on the second floor. He wanted to see who it was. "How dare you break in so blatantly? It's really deadly!" Soon, several people came to the balcony. They followed the source of the sound. Sure enough, a few hundred meters away, they found a modified car. To Zhang Yi's surprise, why was there only one? Is it a messenger? It was just now that Zhang Yi, in space, pulled out a sight gun, looking at Xu Chunlei. Both nervous and excited, he really wanted to try this big toy too. However, Zhang Yi said, "We should focus on the enemy." He opened the scope and found that there were only two people in the car. From their posture, it seemed that they had no intention of staying. As they passed by the shelter, suddenly a soldier pulled a gun out of the car. Then there was a swoosha-clad piercing arrow followed, plunging into the wall of the shelter. The arrow had a red tag on its tail. Seeing them leave, Zhang Yi's mouth curled into a sneer. "Here is where you can come if you want. Is it a place to go if you want?" After Chen, Zhang Yi fired a shot at the tire of the car. Precision shooting made his bullets look like they had GPS installed. No matter how they spiraled, they couldn't escape the pursuit of his bullet. If there is no accident in the next second, it will definitely not be an accident. Obviously, the enemy's driving skills were not good as the car spiraled in place. While Zhang Yi was shooting, he jumped off the second floor, following closely behind his Uncle Vu. Xu Chunlei was stunned, wondering what these two were going to do. However, at the moment Zhang Yi landed, the power of space slowly emerged beneath his feet, letting him fall firmly like a feather. At this time, the car at Yangsheng base had overturned. One soldier was trapped in the car while the other tried to rescue him. However, upon seeing a giant cat approaching, he decisively gave up on his teammate and ran away. The soldier trapped under the car was unaware of what happened, but upon seeing his teammate run away regardless of him, he really wanted to swear. But how could Zhang Yi give him this opportunity? "Since you are here, there is no reason not to stay for dinner." Then came a gunshot, but Zhang Yi did not kill. He just shot the soldier in the calf. After all, he needed to figure out the origin and purpose of the two hard-to-find information. With a scream, the soldier who was running away fell down. He knew it was over and feared he was doomed. Another soldier tried to fight back with a gun drawn, but Uncle Vu controlled him. At this time, Zhang Yi was very confused because these two were obviously not metahumans. He couldn't guess what they were doing, sending these two little boys to die. But the next second, something unexpected happened to Zhang Yi. The corners of their mouths moved slightly, and instantly, a large mouthful of blood flowed from the corner of their mouths. Zhang Yi frowned. These people are not afraid of death, he thought. Uncle Vu checked the matter. They had hidden poison in their mouths. It seemed that they had fully prepared themselves, fearing information leakage. Zhang Yi took a helpless breath. These guys were smart. They must have known he wouldn't let them go no matter what. But in this case, he still didn't know their purpose. However, at this moment, Shu Chunlei happily held up the handle. Just now, he ran over and shouted, "Boss, look! This is what they left behind!" Zhang Yi saw it and his pupils turned fierce. He immediately yelled, "Silly! Don't come to me again!" Being scolded by Zhang Yi made Shu Chunlei understand something instantly. He just wanted to take credit. Zhang Yi said, "What if this is a trap?"